All right, so this video is going to go over the basic pattern of Taisabaki, right? Now, whenever we talk about basic pattern in a form, we're really talking about putting your hands basically in the right place, using the correct hand, doing the correct block, high block. We're not going into details of exactly the angle of things like that. Basically the correct stance and basically facing the correct direction and doing that all in the right order, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick look at Taisabaki once, right? Then after that, we'll go into some drills of how we can develop it and learn the pattern. So let's get started with that now. So we're going to get started working on Taisabaki today. Now, Taisabaki is a fairly simple form in terms of pattern. It basically does one side then the other side of the same thing, and there's only 4 different moves that you do on both sides, so I guess it's a total of 8. You also do a break, right? We're going to go over the break first because, well, yeah, we should do that. So when you do your break, you start kind of here, and this is a moment to kind of relax and take a break. You take a deep breath in, cross your arms, and breathe out. Now, the timing of the breath is you breathe in as you come up, exhale as you come down, which I can't simulate while I'm speaking about it, but you get the idea. So when you're going to do your break, you're doing that before every step and after every step, right? It's kind of like a transitional move between each movement within the form. Now, the form itself, like I said, has got 4 different moves you do on both sides. The first one is going to be turning to your right and doing a high block with your right and going into a front stance. Right? So we're going to just do the basic pattern. So you set your hand low, you look to your right, you set your foot, and you go. And then you break. Then you do the same thing to the other side. You set your hands, you step back, turn your foot, and you high block, and you break. Okay, so we're going to do that 3 times. Remember, go to your right first. I'm mirroring, and whichever hand is closest to where you're going, that's the hand that blocks. 1, break, 2, break, again, 1, break, 2, break, again, 1, break, and 2, and break. Okay, so we're going to kind of come back to those moves in a minute. We're going to go into steps 3 and 4 of the form, which is turning into a horse stance and doing a palm heel. Now for this one, when you turn to your right, your left hand does a palm heel. So I take my foot, I step back behind my other foot, I turn, horse stance and palm heel. Now really what we're focusing on right now is just getting the broad strokes of these techniques. Right? There's plenty of time for us to go into detail later. Right now we want to know the pattern. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I take my left foot, I step back, and I use my right hand palm heel. Right? What this is doing is someone's coming to get me and I'm pushing their hand out of the way like a block. Right? All right, so we're going to do that again. Right? To your right first, step back, left hand palm heel. Break. Same thing the other side, step back, right hand palm heel. Good. All right, so we're going to do that 2 more times. Ready? And 1. Break. This is really step 3, I guess. And now step 4. Okay, we're going to do that 1 more time. And then the other side. Okay, So what we're going to do now is we're going to do steps 1 through 4 in Taisabaki, right? Remember, it goes right, left, right. Let's get started with it. Here we go. Break. Relax. 1. Break. 2. Break. 3. Break. And 4. Break. Okay, so now I'm going to count this time. I'm not going to show you, right? And this is a good way for you to kind of test to see, do you feel confident with these moves and we should move on, or not so much, right? So here we go. Break first. 1. Hopefully you turn that way and do the high block. And break. 2. Same thing, blocking to the other side. And break. Think about what 3 is. Let's go for 3. 3. And break. Hopefully you did that palm heel there. And 4. And again, hopefully you did a palm heel that side. Okay, break. So I'm going to do one more time with you, right? So you can be like, oh, that's exactly what I just did last time. Or if you forgot, well, we'll talk about that. So here we go. We break. 1. Break. 2. Break. 3. Should be the hand that's closest to the screen that's doing the palm heel. Break. And 4. Again, hand that's closest to the screen does the palm heel. Okay, so we're going to move on with this. If you felt like you didn't quite have that pattern, I would recommend go back, review it a couple more times, get comfortable and confident before you try and kind of layer on more parts of the form. But for us, we're going to keep moving along because you always have the option of pausing and rewinding at your own time. So with that being said, let's move on to steps 5 and 6, which is doing a cat stance. Now, cat stance, the first time most people do a cat stance is this form, so I'm going to take a second to review it. When I go into a cat stance, I end up with my feet not quite in an L, a little bit more like a check mark. So this foot points kind of to the corner, like 30 to 45 degrees over, and this one is straight ahead. I have all my weight on my back leg, so much so that I can do this without changing my balance. So if you see it from the side, you can see this foot's a little crooked. Actually, maybe you can't. I'll roll my pants a little bit there. Right, this foot is straight, my heel is up, because I want to be able to do this. I've committed all of my weight back. That's really what we're doing in a cat stance. So what we're going to do is we're going to step back with our right leg. We're going to do a cat stance. We're going to high block to the front, towards the screen. When you do that, you should be using your left hand. So there's a lot of details here, but just end up in the right place, and you should be pretty happy if you're working on the pattern. So we break. 5. You should have your left foot in front and your left hand out, right? And then break. We're going to do the same thing the other side. Step back with your left foot this time and high block. And you should have your right hand out and your right foot in front. Okay? And break. Okay, so we're going to do that again. Step back with your right. High block with your left. Break. And step back with your left. High block with your right. Okay. We're going to do that 2 more times. I'm not going to talk you through it as much, right? But take your time. I'll go a little bit slow. I'm trying to pause there for a second so you can see what it looks like and try to match up. If you want to pause, feel free to pause. Right? But I'll do like my own version of a pause for you. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. Ready? Step back. High block. Break. You step back. And high block. And then you break. Okay. So that's steps 5 and 6. Right? Then we got steps 7 and 8. And then we're kind of done with the form. Now, so far we've been showing you everything kind of from head on. I want to show you this twice in 2 different angles because head on versus sideways Both are really valuable because this one actually has a couple steps to it. So if you're just watching, don't do it yet, right? Unless you really know what you're doing, then go ahead and do it. I want to step straight back with this leg. Okay, so in the same line, right? I step back, I bring my feet together, my hands into the chamber, right? I'm going to take that same leg, I'm going to step again and turn and face away from the screen. Now you may need to stop and look. If you don't know what you're doing, that's perfectly fine. I come back, and I break. Okay. Now this time I'm not going to mirror. I'm going to do this the way you would do it in the form. So you break, you're going to be taking your right foot, step back. Both feet come in together, hands come in together. You're going to take your right foot, you're going to step out again. You're going to reach. Right? Now I'm going to turn that way, which is kind of like the back of the room, right? Away from the screen for you when you're practicing in all likelihood. And you palm heel out. And you come back. One step and two step. Now I'm going to show you the back view of this, just because a lot of people still get confused by this. So I break. Right foot steps straight back. Feet come together. Right? I take my right foot, I step again. I drop down. I do a palm heel. Right? And again, you should be facing the opposite direction from what you normally start. I did this backwards. Okay, so hopefully you've seen that from a couple different angles and you understand what you're supposed to do. I'm going to try and be facing towards you as we do this, and we can copy each other. You will be moving, you will turn your body away from me in all likelihood, but that's okay. So we start from our break. One step, turn to your right, bring your feet in together, hands to your sides. Take your right foot, step again, kneel down, palm heel, then you come back. And when I come back, I keep my hand out. I'm back to that one step in between, and then a break. Okay, we're going to just do that same side, okay? Because it's confusing enough learning this. This seems to be the hardest step to learn in this format, right? So we're here, we take one step, we bring our feet together, we have good posture, right? We're going to take another step, kneel down, palm heel. You should all be using your left hand, and you have your left knee on the floor, your right knee up. You come back, feet come together, and again. All right, I'm going to do that step one more time, then we'll do the other side. So right leg steps back, feet come together, hands to your chamber, right leg steps out again, kneel down, palm heel. Then come back, one step, and two step. Okay, now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, and again, I'm mirroring, so it does get confusing potentially for people depending on if you like mirroring or you don't. Hopefully you like it. So from here, I'm going to step away from the screen with my left leg. I bring my feet together, hands at my sides. I'm going to step away from the screen one more time with my left leg, kneel down, palm heel. Then I come back. One step and two step. Okay, we're going to do that again. Step away from the screen with your left leg. Step away from the screen with your left leg again. Kneel down, palm heel. You should have your right hand out right now. You come back. One step, two step. All right, we're going one more time. Good luck. Ready? Step away from the screen with your left leg. Step away from the screen with your left leg. Palm heel with your right hand. Come back. Feet together. And break. Okay. One last little detail in terms of making sure it's perfectly clear how you end up. Right? When I end up kneeling down, whatever knee is on the floor, that hand is doing the palm heel. If you remember that simple tip, it'll help you keep things organized. Okay? Whatever knee is on the floor is doing the palm heel. All right, so now we're going to do the cat stances and then the one step, two step. Okay, so we did 1 through 4 before. We're going to do 5 through 8 now. Then we're going to put them all together, do 1 through 8. And if we've got that, we've got the pattern in the form, hopefully. Okay, here we go. Break. Remember, 5 and 6 were the cat stances. So we step back with our right leg. Is kind of, you always go right then left here. Right leg steps back, and left hand high block. Break, you reset back to exactly where you started. Every time you break, you go back to where you started. Right? Do the other side, same idea. Step back with your left leg, and right hand high block. and break. Okay, now we're gonna do one step, two step. Right, when we do one step, we turn to our right first, because this form is always right then left, right then left. So you step back with your right, face it to your right. You got your hands in the chair. You're gonna step with your right again. Kneel down, palm heel. Remember, whichever hand is out, that same knee should be on the floor. If you're crossed, you did it wrong. All right, come back. One step, two step, break. All right, other side. We're turning to your left. We step and bring our feet together. Hands to our sides. We step with our left again. We kneel down, we palm heel. Your leg that's on the floor, that knee, that hand is out. All right, make sure it matches. Come back. One step, and two step, and break. Okay, so we went through it once. We're gonna do it one more time. Okay, here we go, break. Think about what stance is first. Cat stance. By the way, it's helpful to actually say what you're doing, so it'll help you remember faster, right? So you step back to your cat stance, turning to your right first, high block towards the screen, come back and break. Same thing, the other side, step with your left, high block towards the screen, right? And come on back and break. Okay, now we've got one step, two step. Think about which side is always first. Always right. Right, step with your right leg, one step, two step. Remember, whatever knee is on the floor, that hand is out. You come back, that hand stays out. You don't switch it, then you come back and you break. Okay, other side, same idea. One step, two step, kneel down, palm heel. Think about which hand should be out. Is it the one that's knee up, knee down? Hopefully you remember it's knee down. Come back, one step, and two step, and break. Okay, so now, time for the final challenge for doing this, trying to remember every single one of the steps. Right? If you're having a hard time with the steps we just did, feel free to pause this, right? Practice those a couple more times to feel more comfortable, but we gotta keep moving on. Last time we're gonna do this, we're trying to do all 8 steps. Your goal to feel like, hey, I'm doing this right, is that you can do all 8 steps where you end up facing the correct direction, either right or left, and then you have the correct hand out. If you have the correct hand out, kind of doing the correct block, whether it's a palm heel or a high block or whatever it is, okay? And if you have the correct direction, like I said, then you should feel like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good about the pattern. If you're mixing one of those things up, that may be an indicator you should go back, rewatch, relearn, review, whatever you need to do to make sure you feel comfortable with the form, right? So let's get started. I'm here. I start off by doing my break. Doing all the steps. Think about which way one faces. To the right, high block, ready, go 1, and a break. 2, break. Think about what stance is 3, what strike it is. Horse stance, and it's a palm heel. Right. Turn right or left? Oh, right. Turn palm heel. Break. All right. Obviously, this is to the other side. And a break. Okay, now we're coming up on which stance. Think it through, think it through. Hopefully you know it's a cat stance. Think about what block it is. It's a high block. Is it towards the screen or away from the screen? Towards the screen. All right, so step back with your right. High block with your left. And come on back, break. Other side, same idea. Step back and go and break. All right, what are we coming up on? Think for a second. Make sure you know that it's 1 step, 2 step. Right? Is it right or left first? I think it's going to be to my right. Which hand? What strike is it? Is it a palm heel or a high block? It's a palm heel. Ready? 1 step, 2 step. Come back, 2 step. Same thing the other side, 1 step, 2 step, come back, and 2 step. All right, so if you made it through that with my help, tremendous. That's a good start. You may want to practice this a couple more times at your own speed. Right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to tack on some video of me doing this at different angles at the end. So if you want to keep practicing while that's going on, fantastic. Right? If you feel comfortable with the pattern, you should check out the next video on how the footwork works.